Welcome back, horror lovers. We hope you're ready for today's dose of terror, because today's story will truly send shivers down your spine. Are you sure you want to know what happened? If so, then keep watching. There was once a church in Paris which had always been very peaceful, and where all the believers were very close. Their community exuded so much happiness that they even went out to walk and hang out together in their free time. And if anyone in the community needed help, someone would soon lend them a hand, even if they had to stop whatever they were doing. However, one day everything changed. Conflict started when two monks arrived who were yet to be educated. Their names were Manuel and Leo. They were unruly and rowdy, but even then, they were warmly welcomed by the community. They loved their shenanigans, since they were harmless and didn't hurt anybody. The church became pretty lively thanks to them. The two monks quickly formed a group of 5 friends. After lunch, they would read for a bit, and then would go play funny pranks to others. However, one day, during the Mass at noon, the priest fainted and collapsed to the floor. His nose started to bleed, and 10 seconds later, he started to have convulsions. He was quickly taken to the emergency room. And to everyone's surprise, the priest came back that very night, ready to do his work the next day. The doctor didn't tell the others exactly what was happening, since the priest asked him not to tell them, but the doctor did warn them that the priest's state was delicate, and so the community took special care of him and were alert in case he showed any symptoms. The priest then went to bed earlier than usual. He asked for permission to go to bed earlier, and he was allowed to. The next morning, some of the monks found him sitting at the dinner table, his face looking very pale, and with bags under his eyes. He couldn't even hold a conversation with them. However, the police implored them not to call the hospital and let him do the Mass. And even though he was in such a bad shape, he promised that after doing the Mass, he would go back to the hospital. And so, they allowed him to do the Mass. Meanwhile, Manuel and Leo, who had just arrived, convinced their group of friends that the priest was actually possessed, and even forged a document which said those were the symptoms of someone possessed by a demon. Since they falsified the date, the document looked ancient and prestigious. They showed this document explaining that after an exorcism, the demon still remains hidden in the brain of the victim. There it plants its evil seeds, which will end up manifesting sooner or later. Then they explained that the only way to get rid of that evil was to kill the one possessed whenever he starts showing symptoms. As soon as the priest started to do the sermon, he collapsed and started to bleed from the nose once again. And before seeing if he started to have convulsions as well, 5 hooded monks rushed at the priest, each one holding a knife. They stabbed the priest in front of all the believers until they made sure he was dead. And after a long silence, screams of horror invaded the church. Then the monks turned around to show their identities, and 2 of them had a big eerie smile on their faces. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more horror videos, subscribe to our channel.